Hello everyone, this is my presentation video for final year project 1 or project Sarjana Muda part 1. So this is my project title, Cybersecurity Fake News Detection in Social Media using Deep Learning Algorithm. My supervisor is Dr. Anazida binti Zainab. In my video, I will talk about 9 contents, which are the problem background, the problem statements, the proposed solution, the research aim, objective, scope, contribution, methodology, and the design. So first of all, the project background, the problem background. So in the past decade, the information and communication technology has advanced rapidly, whereby the social media has become one of the main resources to disseminate the information to the people around the world. Due to this advancement technology, detecting the illegitimate news on social media has become very important, but at the same time, it is also a technically challenging task. Why the fake news detecting is a challenging task? Because usually the fake news will disguise themselves to present themselves like authenticate news. So there is a study found that when a fake news article is shown to the public, most of the respondents found that the fake news article is somewhat or very accurate, or we can say 75% of the respondent. And there is another study found that 80% of the high school students had a hard time on determining the fake news article is whether fake or not. So in order to combat the growing of misinformation and the confusion that caused to the public, there are various fact-checking websites has deployed to the public to help them to determine the story or article is whether fake or not, such that snoof.com, PolitiFact, BuzzFeed, and in Malaysia we have the sebenarnya.my fact-checking website. So there are various set of characteristics will be used to determine, and there are some similarity on those characteristics, which are the text from the article, the public response that the article received, and the source of the articles. So first of all, text of article. Currently there's various the media advisory have give various advices that evaluating the matches of the headline to the body content of the article is has different methods, so that in order to judge the consistency and the proficiency of the language is quite not just it does not have a standardized method to determine. Besides that, there is limitation by the fact of the linguistic characteristic using linguistic characteristic, because it depends across on the different type of the fake news, the topic of the fake news, and the media platform that the fake news use. Second is the response from the news article. Fake news will usually contain opinions and inappropriate language that will mold it as clickbait to incite confusion to the readers. So people tend to profiting by publishing the fake story online to the public in the form of clickbaits or ads. So there's another study on the propagation and the social graph for the social media, and found that the the model that the researcher built is a bit difficult because the social graph is not always focused and accessible through online. So the third characteristic is the source of news. Source of news contains the URL, the credibility of the media or the article, the user profile of the publisher who authored it. When the fake news is exposing to a large group of audience, it may process to publicize and disseminate the news content to others. There, so if the news is being public is being public is being published to the public, there will be a group of people who will tend to try to earn the profit by spreading the fake news to the public. Then I will talk about the problem statement. So these are the problems that found in my research project. The first one is the most of the current fake news detection are only focused on the content base, and is also not cybersecurity related. Most of them are focused on the politic news. The second is there is no existing model that is aimed to detect the cybersecurity fake news on the social media platform. And the third one, the existing fake news detection model is only depends on a single feature characteristic which is difficult to determine the legitimacy of the news on the social media. To encounter the problem, solution is being proposed to each of the problem. For the first one, the solution is to train a fake news detection which focus on the context-based feature of the social media, and it is cybersecurity related entity. For the second problem, the solution is to propose and build a model that can use to detect the cybersecurity fake news on the social media platform. The third problem, the solution is to build a model which is able to determine the legitimacy of the news based on several features characteristics that is being discussed just now. So the purpose of this research is to develop a fake news detection model using deep learning algorithm on social media platform. So there are a few questions being asked in the research. The first one is which model of deep learning algorithm is suitable to use in dealing with unstructured data and detecting fake news. The second question is what are the features that will be used to evaluate the accuracy and credibility of the legitimate news. The third one is what is the method will be used to select and rank the feature. The objective of my research project is to develop a clean data set based on the context of social media to recognize and detect the fake news using deep learning algorithm, and to evaluate the effectiveness, accuracy of the algorithm and the credibility of the news. The scope of my research, the first one is the source of the dataset came from Kaggle, GitHub, Sebenarnya.my website, and Twitter from the year of 2016 to 2020. The dataset will then distributed into training dataset and testing dataset. The programming language that will be used is Python. The features of the fake news will be determined by using feature selection and the feature ranking to score the features. Then the algorithm will be used is deep algorithm. With the algorithm that will be used is deep algorithm and deep algorithm, long short-term memory, and recurrent neural network method. The contribution of my research project is a dataset which relevant to cybersecurity fake news will be built, and a proposed model that is able to detect the accuracy and the credibility of the legitimate news using the context, the response, and the source of the news article. So this is the overall framework of my project. There is 3 phases. The first phase is dataset constructing, second phase is cleaning and extraction, and the third phase is evaluation. On the first phase, the data construction, so various sites will be visited, such as the sebenarnya.my fact-checking website, the Twitter social application, Kaggle data center, and the GitHub. All the data will be collected and used will be used and will use the credibility and accuracy as the evaluation metric. On the second phase, cleaning and extraction, there is 4 stages, which is cleaning dataset, feature selection, train a fake news detection model, and test the fake news detection model. And the third phase is evaluation. It will be discussed about the effectiveness of the algorithm that affects on the model, and the credibility and accuracy of the news. The design of my research project. This is the design of my research project. Same as the methodology. Phase 1 is data construction, phase 2 is cleaning and extraction, and phase 3 is evaluation. During the phase 1 data construction, various sources will be received, and there are tools. There are web crawler tools such as Scrappy from Python will be used to crawl the data from the website, and 3P to crawl the data from the Twitter application. And meanwhile, the Kaggle and GitHub itself, they already have their own dataset which is being crawled and cleaned by the other researcher. On phase 2 cleaning and extraction, the dataset being crawled from the phase 1 will then clean by using the newspaper 3K2. Newspaper 3K2 is a Python library that can scrap and clean the news article, download from the online source like social media. Then the feature must before the data set is being trained in the training models, the feature must be generated. So these are the features that will be used on the testing model, on the training model, such as hashtag, the number of retweets, the number of likes, comments to the news, source of the news, user profile that publish the news, the number of followers that the user have, the number of following that user follow, the number of tweets that user post, and the number of reply that the user comment on other tweets. During the training detection model, three modules will be used, which are the capture, score, and integrated modules. On the capture module, it will capture the temporal engagement pattern of the user that contacted with the articles in terms of the frequency and the distribution. Then the number of time that user engaged to the article and the propagation of the article over the time will also be captured. And in this module, the current neural network is being used because it is effective on capturing the temporal patterns in the data, and it will be and since I'm using different sources, so it will be integrating the different source of information. On the score module, the response of user article will be will be captured. The model will use a long short-term memory deep algorithm because it can capture the long-term dependency and is flexible in processing the inputs of very length. Because the response of the news from the user will have time frame which is not which will which will show a vary of time. So long short-term memory algorithm will suitable in this module. Then after that, the third module will integrate the first module and second module to produce a F1 score and the accuracy in the testing model. When it comes to phase 3 evaluation, the build model will then discuss and review on the credibility and the accuracy of the legitimate news. It will also evaluate the effectiveness of the algorithm that is used in the model. Thank you. That's all from me.